Okay, it's become, I think, exuberantly clear. I don't know if anybody's talked about this yet, but in the case that they haven't, this is going to be hopefully the revelatory video. On top of that, I think it had to do with me popping this fucking volcano of a zit sitting on my forehead. So I'm going to zoom into that in the meantime. JK. Okay, so I think here's what's going on. I don't know if this has to do with MOAS or not. So just follow me here. Because interest rates took a shit a long time ago. This goes way, way, way back. If you're not familiar with interest rates, it's essentially how much a bond will pay out. It's the yield to a piece of debt. It's like your credit card payment, except it's in reverse. The APR on your credit card is the yield to the guy who has issued you money in advance. So those took a shit regarding the value of the US dollar a long time ago. You can attribute it back to 2008. You can attribute it back to the taper tantrum we had in 2018. You can go all the way back to our boy Nixon when he decided to take us off the gold standard too. Regardless of that, though, in particular, the most recent fucking episode we've had of interest rates even going negative incentivized the way that our economy works in regards to fixed income. Mutual funds, which again, this was in the overstock situation, if you're not aware, mutual funds have always been incentivized to accumulate massive amounts of stock, typically those that are always desired in shorting. But they do this agnostically throughout the market. Mutual funds have bought up tons of stock over the past couple of years. BlackRock and Vanguard in particular. And they have issued this stock out into the securities lending market, which has to do with shorting, so that they can gain a passive alpha involving borrow fees. The borrow fees are paid by market participants. I think what has happened is to counter the lack of yield from T-notes, treasury bonds, whatever you want to call them, was substituted with the equities market, which you already know the equities market was substituted in a lot of functions, in particular with SLR, the what is it, security leveraging ratio or supplemental leveraging ratio. The Fed greenlit all of the big banks to go fucking balls deep on leverage. We've seen Goldman up to even 156, I think, X leverage. So if I gave you $1, you'd give me 156 is what that comes out to. Except this is banks getting this fucking neat little, here you go. So the market pumped. That's what happened. And now SLR was turned off last year in July of 21. And we've been seeing that deleveraging taking place. But also what has to happen with that, we need bonds to go up. We need the value of our currency to go up because now we're in fucking economic war with not only Russia, but China as well. But how do we do that? Because if we do increase our interest rates, well, then that would mean that all of the mutual funds would destroy the market, basically, or at least would start the destruction of the market, because they would have to increase their own interest rates that they're issuing out to people to reciprocate with whatever yields are doing, because they would also have to accumulate more T-notes while delevering their their lending. But for them to do that, they can't do it too quick, otherwise you get volatility and turbulence, but you also can't do it too slow because then you have an imbalance in terms of reallocating to your portfolio. So I think what's going on is the SFT market, this NSCC 00 go fuck yourself, is serving as a new layer to the market because we love more liquidity. It's all about the liquidity because you need lube while you're fucking people. They're introducing more liquidity as a new market in terms of buying and selling debt at the equity layer, because mutual funds have created a clusterfuck in terms of solving this transition of fixed income to equities. They've substituted their fixed income legs of their portfolio with just lending out stock, in which case you would find that you might have some naked shorting taking place because there's excess amounts of stock available. Fuck me. I hope that made sense. Someone please run with this or dig into it. add some substance to it or something. I don't know. This is fucking insanity. Put simply, I just need to start doing this at the beginning of every video. My video should just be made in reverse. Put simply, mutual funds overbought a lot of stock so that they could lend it out to nefarious, decadent fucks who get to drive Lambos to work and somewhere down in fucking Manhattan or Chicago. And now, for them to delever their own portfolio, not only do they have to recall all of their stock, but we know damn well that those who borrowed from these mutual funds don't have the money. And in fact, FINRA, their debt in terms of margin is at an all-time high and still hasn't been reported for fucking 4 months. Whoopee! Corruption! I fucking hate this shit.